go for a walk. What? Okay. Let's see. Cheese is kind of scary. Okay. Anyways. Okay. Seeds on the bug. It was my plate, okay? Mm-mm. Okay, well. Okay, so, where am I? Aha, here it is. Chapter 4. Chrysania. Oh, wait. Chrysania had gone from the camp. From camp. Almost an hour before Caramon managed to get matters organized enough to set off in pursuit. As Chrysania had foreseen, he had to explain the emergency to the messengers and make certain they were not offended before he could leave. This involved some time, because the plainsman spoke very little Common and no Dwarven. And while the dwarf spoke Common fairly well, one reason he had been chosen as messenger, he couldn't understand Caramon's strange accent and was constantly forcing the big man to repeat himself. Caramon had begun trying to explain who Chrysania was and what her relationship to him was, but that proved impossible for either the dwarf or the plainsman to comprehend. So the plainsman, I guess, would represent like Native Americans. And these dwarves are like, I don't know, Jack Mormons, I guess. That's funny. Okay. Finally, Caramon gave up and told them bluntly what they were bound to hear in camp anyway, that she was his woman and she had run off. The plainsman nodded in understanding. The women of his tribe, being notably wild, occasionally took it into their heads to do the same thing. He suggested that when Caramon caught her, he have all her hair cut off. What? The sign of a disobedient wife. The dwarf was somewhat astonished. So wait, what do they even think happened? I'm confused there. The dwarf was somewhat astonished. A dwarven woman, so they don't understand what's going on. And they thought that he was hers, and they can't understand his language. Okay. What does that mean? They think that she's on the right side? Just kidding. The dwarf, okay. But he reminded himself dourly, he was among humans, and what could you expect? No, wait. The dwarf, somewhat astonished, a dwarven woman would as soon think of running away from home and husband as she would of shaving her chin whiskers. What? Both bid Caramon a quick and successful journey, and settled down to enjoy the camp stock of ale. Having a sigh of relief, Caramon hurried out of his tent to find that Garrick had saddled a horse and was holding it ready for him. I forgot who Garrick was. Who was I thinking he was before? I forgot. Dang it, I have to watch the older ones. He picked up her trail, General, the young man said, pointing. She rode north, following the small animal trail into the woods. She's on a fast horse, Garrick said, his head a moment in admiration. What? She stole one of the best. I'll say that for her, sir, but I wouldn't think she'd get that far. So she stole that horse? Caramon mounted. Thank you, Garrick, he began, then stopped as he saw another horse being led up. What's this? He growled. I said I was going alone. I am coming too, my brother, spoke a soft voice from the shadows. Caramon looked around. The Archmage came out of his tent, dressed in his black traveling cloak and boots. That's funny, because somebody just barely offered me a job and it needed boots yesterday. Caramon scowled, and it was a ways to travel. Caramon scowled, but Garrick was already respectfully helping Raistlin to mount the thin, nervous black horse. The Archmage favored. Caramon dared not say anything in front of the men, and his brother knew it. He saw the amused glint in Raistlin's eyes as he raised his head, the sunlight hitting their mirrored surface. Wait, what? He saw the amused glint in Raceland's eyes as he raised his head, the sunlight hitting their mirrored surface. Trying to understand that part right there. That's like interesting. I wonder if it's trying to help me remember who Garrick was. Let's be off then, Caramon muttered, trying to conceal his anger. Garrick, you're in command while I'm gone. I don't expect it will be long. Make certain that our guests are fed and get those farmers back out there in the field. I want to see them spearing those straw dummies when I return, not each other. Yes, sir, Garrick said gravely, giving Caramon the knight's salute. Oh, I get it. Because the knight's salute means that people need to be peaceful because they're higher up. A vivid memory of Sturm Brightblade came to Caramon's mind. And with it, days of his youth. Days when he and his brother had traveled with their friends. Tanis, Flint, the dwarven black metalsmith, Sturm, shaking his head, he tried to banish the memories as he guided his horse out of camp. But they returned to him more forcefully when he reached the trail into the woods and caught a glimpse of his brother riding next to him. The mage keeping his horse just a little behind the warriors, as usual. But they returned to him more forcefully when he reached the trail into the woods. Though he did not particularly like riding, Raceland rode well, as he did all things well, if he set his mind to it. He did not speak nor even look at his brother, keeping his hood cast over his head, lost in his own thoughts. It's raining on me. I feel like I do need a hood. Seriously, kind of cold. Where is this? I need to actually go back to remember, because I can't remember what thoughts were in my head. I want to tell you what they are now, but I don't want to be wrong and confuse people. I have to go back and find out who Garrick was. Anyways. But I need a new coat. New Cora too. At least I got paint for it though. This was not... Wait. He did not speak nor even look at his brother, keeping his hood cast over his head, lost in his own thoughts. This was not unusual. The twins had sometimes traveled for days with little verbal communication. But there was a bond between them, nonetheless, a bond of blood and bone and soul. And bone. Oh. That's actually not true right now. Caramon felt himself slipping into the old, easy comradeship. His anger began to melt away. It had been partly at himself anyhow, but it's been like, trying to warn me of being bad. Half turning, he spoke over his shoulder. I'm sorry about back there raced, he said gruffly as they rode deeper into the forest, following Cressania's clearly marked trail. What you said was true. She did tell me that she... Caramon floundered, blushing. He twisted around the saddle. That she... Damn it, Race. Why did you have to be so rough with her? Raceland lifted his hooded head, his face now visible to his brother. I had to be rough, he said in his soft voice. I had to make her see the chasm yawning at her feet. A chasm that, if we fell into it, would destroy us all. Yawning at her feet. A chasm. Taking time, not caring, measurements incoming, moving. Chasm. Caramon stared at his twin in wonder. You're not human. To his astonishment, Raceland sighed. The mage's harsh, glittering eyes softened a moment. I am more human than you realize, my brother, he said in a wistful tone that went straight to Caramon's heart. Then love her, man, Caramon said, dropping back to ride beside his brother. Forget this nonsense about chasms and pits or whatever. You may be a powerful wizard, and she may be a holy cleric, but underneath those robes, you're both flesh and blood. Take her in your arms, and... So that's like saying don't do the letter Q. That's like saying don't do the letter Q at her feet. Listen to me, Caramon, and try to understand, Raceland said in an expressionless tone. Is that kind of like facing the Dark Queen? There's a lineup of girls to choose from. So that someday I'll want her to mess up and then use it against her until she cheats or something. And then... Just kidding. That's true, though. It could be nothing but a distraction. Raceland said in an expressionless tone that made his twin shudder. I am incapable of love. Haven't you realized that yet? Oh, yes. You are right. Beneath these robes, I am flesh and blood. More's the pity. Like any other man, I am capable of lust. That's all it is. Lust. See, he's a bastard. He's a black-robed. He shrugged. It probably mattered little to me if I gave into it. Perhaps weakened me some temporarily, Nothing more. It would certainly not affect my magic. But his gaze went through Caramon like a sliver of ice. It would destroy Chrysania when she found out. And she would find out. You black-hearted bastard, Caramon said through clenched teeth. Raistlin raised an eyebrow. Am I? He asked simply. If I were, wouldn't I just take my pleasure as I found it? I am capable of understanding and controlling myself, unlike others. Caramon blinked. Spurring his horse, he proceeded down the trail again, lost in confusion. Somehow his brother had managed once again to turn everything upside down. Suddenly, he, Caramon, felt consumed with guilt, a prey to animal instincts he wasn't man enough to control, while his brother, by admitting he was incapable of love, appeared noble and self-sacrificing. Caramon shook his head. The two followed Chrysania's trail deeper into the woods. It was easy going. She had kept to the path, never veering, never bothering even to cover her tracks. Women, Caramon muttered after a time, if she was going to have a sulking fit, why didn't she just do it the easy way and walk? Why did she have to take a blasted horseback ride halfway into the countryside? You do not understand her, my brother, Raistlin said, his gaze on the trail. Such is not her intent. She has a purpose in this ride, believe me. That's saying that she's not just looking for something. Bah, Caramon snorted, because it was saying, like, leaving a trail for men or whatever. She wasn't just doing that. This from the expert on women. I've been married, I know. He said, I've been married. See, it's showing Raistlin's black-robed influence on his brother, and it's messing him up. That would be actually true. If I was like that, if I was doing that, it would mess up my brother. He said it in past tense. I've been married, when he's actually married right now. Well, this, Tika is his wife. But he put it in past tense. I've been married. I know. She's ridden off in a huff, knowing we'll come after her. We'll find her somewhere along here. Here, horse ridden into the ground. Probably lame. She'll be cold and haughty. We'll apologize, and I'll let her have her damn tent if she wants it, and see there? What'd I tell you? Bringing his horse to a halt, he gestured across the flat grasslands. There's a trail a blind gully dwarf could follow. Come on. A blind hippie? Raistlin did not answer, but there was a thoughtful look on his thin face as he galloped after his brother. The two followed Chrysania's trail across the grasslands. They found where she entered the woods again, came to a stream and crossed it. But there, on the bank of the stream, Caramon brought his horse to a halt. What the? He looked left and right. guiding his animal around in a circle. Raceland stopped, sighing, and leaned over the pommel of his saddle. "I told you," he said grimly. "She has a purpose. She is clever, my brother. Clever enough to know your mind and how it works. When it does work." Caramon glowered at his twin, but said nothing. Cressania's trail had disappeared. So, is that distracting? Comparing those characters. It's pretty interesting. Okay. Well, I'll do it again tomorrow. Very interesting. So, I went and gave some paperwork showing some stuff about names or whatever. Somebody hopefully will wake up to helping me introduce pre-death funerals or something. I mean, I don't think I want to turn 16 Senate celebration into anything that's other just something for myself and my wife or whatever, whoever I hope with. But I could help people make something else, you know. Doesn't need to be that, because that's like has my birthday tied to it and everything, you know. I'm not sure, but pre-death funerals, all people need to really know about is just what we'll do at the, you know, event thing. But yeah, okay, so see you next time. And wow, I would keep reading, but it's too cold. It's too cold. I think I'm gonna walk to the Safeway. I wish the sun was out right now. I'm gonna paint my car. It looks so horrible. I went to go through all my stuff, but the storage was closed. So I have to go back. All right, bye.